This is Beach Talk Radio.
Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. America, and all ships at sea. This is your captain speaking, Mean Gene. Mean Gene. The following will be a test of the ship's whistle, the sonar alarm, the cable alarm, and the atomic attack alarm.
Oh, isn't that hair fabulous? Broadcasting live from the new hotspot on Fort Myers Beach, Wahoo Willies! It's time for another exciting award-winning episode of Beach Talk Radio. Here are your humble hosts, Kim and Ed Ryan.
Humble, huh? Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much, everybody, and welcome to Wahoo Willies.
You need to eat some humble pie every once in a while.
I don't know if you saw if anyone saw the Santini Plaza video this morning. It was insane. We had 30 people following us along. They love Santini Plaza, and it's so great to hear that they're going to get, some of the folks are going to get the keys to their facilities again around June. So everything is moving forward down there. And we appreciate you guys tuning in to our award-winning Little Dinky podcast. Well, we haven't won any awards yet, but we are a finalist for an award from Keep Lee County Beautiful. So joining us in our first segment, somebody that everybody's familiar with here on the beach, Tom from La Ola. And Tom, how are you doing, man? Thanks for coming on.
I'm well. Thanks for having me. First of all, I'd like to thank you guys for having me on, and thank you for all the hard work you're doing. It's incredible.
It's mostly incredible. Me. Kim's just along for the ride, and she's just riding on our coattails. But and she looks fabulous.
She does. Nice hair.
Well, thank you. I mean, and when you talk about hardworking, we've said this before. We said after. I mean, there's a lot of hardworking people, but you are, I mean, every time we would go by there, you are working, Mr. Serious, go. So you are no stranger to hard work.
No, I guess.
Don't be humble.
Part of that comes from my childhood. I grew up on a potato farm in northern Maine, so I was no stranger to hard work.
Wow. I didn't know that.
From the start, yeah. My dad's idea of a babysitter was a rock cart and a big potato field, so yeah.
Northern Maine, now that's going to be cold.
Yes. In fact, I just saw a forecast up there recently, and it was like -30 wind chill, something like that.
Oh, brother. They can keep that.
The winter's back.
So how did you get down here?
Well, first I moved to southern Maine, which was a huge transition. That was 5 hours south, and going from landlocked right on the Canadian border down to the coastline. And Portland was beautiful, and it was a great experience. But let's see, fast forward, I was there about 6 years, was engaged, got married, and we decided we wanted to live somewhere south before we had children. So we picked Fort Myers Beach. So I moved here in October of 2006, shortly after Hurricane Charlie.
Yeah.
Hurricane.
Yeah.
It seems like all we're talking about lately. So, Tom, when we did the concert in Terry Prasad's parking lot with D-Rocks and Sheena, you were out there all day with the blower, just blowing sand. You know, you got a business that you're trying to run there, and you're helping us out. And so it's just been a huge community effort to try and get as much as possible back up and running so people can come down and, you know, spend some time here, spend some time in Times Square. And, you know, you were the first one there. There's some other things that are, you know, 3 escargots and a few other things that are going on there. And it looks like there were some people even in Lynn Hall Park. I don't know if they were volunteers, but they were sweeping up the sand in Lynn Hall Park, even though that park's not open. People just want to come down to that area and spend some time there and see the water and and sit on the sand.
People do, and the support has just been amazing, and it touches me. All the people coming up and just thanking me for doing what I'm doing, and you know, you can see the joy that it's creating with people. It's really resonating, and I think it's helpful that it just shows that the beach isn't gone, that we're still here. We're going to keep fighting, and we're going to build it back.
And you over there, explain to everybody what you have over there in Times Square.
Okay, so we started out with the food trailer, okay, and we actually had to start out in the parking lot across the way while our building was still piled up on our slab. And I think late November, we were able to get the food trailer on site where Lola was. And we started, at that time, we were doing mostly lunches for construction workers. Most everyone was wearing a hard hat when they were coming by.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And, then we've done some, kept working on the concrete slab a little bit more, put a fresh coat of paint on top.
Yeah, that you did. You painted it yourself.
Yep. And added more tables, chairs. And by New Year's Eve, one of my favorite entertainers, Johnny Walker, had convinced me to start up the live music. So we went for it. And it's been going great ever since.
Tom, rewind a little bit when you first came down and saw what had happened. Like, I was talking to some folks that were walking by today, and this is their first time on the island, and they're about to go down on the south end. I don't know if they have a place down there, whatever, but this is their first time, and they're devastated by it. And you don't want to say this, but
Well, you can't prepare people for it either. I
Right.
mean, that's what's tough.
but my
That's
point
what's
is,
tough.
you're seeing 4 months worth of rock solid cleanup every
Right.
day. Those few days afterward were torture. Like, when you first came down and saw what happened to your restaurant, what went through your mind?
I mean, it was like a war zone. I mean, even before you get to the island, it was coming down and dodging boats in the road. And just, I mean, it was crazy. And I just remember praying that not too many people died, because I knew, unfortunately, that was happening.
So
That
did
people didn't make it.
you know in advance before you got down there that the level of devastation?
I had actually gotten a phone call from my good friend Brad Cordry, who had been staying he worked at the lighthouse and was offered a room to stay there on the 3rd floor. So he called and gave me the bad news that he could see that only the elevator shaft was standing.
Yeah.
The building was gone.
Now,
So I was somewhat prepared for that when I came down. Yeah.
Now, Chris Primo owns the property. So what is the plan? Is the plan to eventually, when everybody can agree on something, and when FEMA tells us how high you got to go and the whole thing, is the plan to eventually be back there, or is it too soon to know?
I would say it's too soon to know. Yeah, it's Chris Primo and his siblings are the beneficiaries of the trust that owns the property. So, there's a few decision makers there, and I really think it's just too early on. We don't know what construction costs would be or design at that point, but my hopes are to be a tenant in the new construction, whatever that may be.
So let's rewind a little bit, Tom.
Yeah. How did you end up how did you go from potato farmer down to a restaurant owner? I mean, it's a what?
Good question. There you go, Kim. Well, I guess my path started to stray from potato farming after my dad and my uncle. I had, out of college, was selling agricultural chemicals and fertilizers to farmers. I was a crop specialist and handled golf courses and that kind of stuff. And my plan was to take that knowledge back to the family farm when my dad and my uncle were getting ready to retire. So an opportunity came along for them to sell the farm in its entirety, all the different homesteads, all the equipment, and opportunities like that just never come up. So I was all in favor of them in doing that, and that just really changed my career path. Shortly after that, I moved to Portland, Maine. Did a short stint in the car industry. I was a finance manager, and I planned on doing that after just one fun season of learning how to bartend down here in Florida, going back into that. And I just fell in love with it so much that I didn't want to go back. Yeah.
And where did you bartend when you were down here?
So my first job was at the Barking Shark, which a lot of people...
Does anybody remember the Barking Shark? Only Dave Nussbaum is old enough to remember the Barking Shark.
Well, everybody remember the salty crab, so I'm sure.
Of course.
And I believe it was something else in between, but
that's
that's the location. It was a much smaller scale operation at the time, but had live music almost at least on a nightly basis. Yep.
So you came down here like on a vacation for the summer and got a job as a bartender?
No, it was planned. It was with a U-Haul and all our possessions and our 2 dogs and everything. It was we were all in. We were moving here. Yep.
Huh.
So Barking Shark, salty crab.
So the chain of where I worked at the Barking Shark, and it closed down, unfortunately. And then a friend of mine was working at Wahoo Willies.
Which not
this
here.
Wahoo
The old
Willis.
location,
The old
obviously.
location,
Yeah.
Which turned into Margaritas.
Exactly. Yes. And Nick and Mary were still the owners.
Nick,
And-
who owns this place,
Exactly.
was the owner
Yep.
over there.
Yes. Yep. And Nello, my good friend Nello Chernoya
Nello.
was the
Nello.
manager.
No.
Yes.
Nello, the
Yes.
parking guy,
Yes.
Nello.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow. We're getting
Yeah.
a history
I knew
lesson here,
that.
everybody. Total
Yes.
history lesson. Tom, you should be 80 years old with the kind of
guess
history
so.
you're showing us right
I
here.
know.
But
When you came here, were you like 7?
no kidding.
It was in my 30s.
Yeah. And that was
Wow.
when that was still a road that went through there, right? At some point.
No. Well, not when I moved here. That was probably a good. I remember people talking about it, and it was less, maybe 10 years or so
I see.
before I moved here. So that probably was in the mid 90s.
So
I think it
you
had to do with the new bridge coming.
So you bartend at Wahoo Willies, which is now was Margaritas,
Yep.
and then you decide that does
well, it had a tragic end. It had a kitchen fire in August, I believe, one year, and closed down. And I was awaiting that to reopen, and Nello and I actually both went over, and Nick and Mary were nice enough to bring us over to hang on to us, take us over and work at the Fishmonger.
where was the fishmonger?
That's on the other side.
Fishmonger is just over the bridge, Ed.
Is it still there now?
Well, part of the building is standing, part of it's down.
Okay.
It's right across from Tina's.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay, so how does La Ola come into the picture?
Okay, so the Fishmonger was a seasonal restaurant, so I went over there and worked the season, and season comes to an end. They closed down for the summer. Another friend of mine named Thomas List had just recently purchased Burrito A Go-Go,
Of course, everybody knows Burrito A Go-Go, which was
a
where
small burrito stand where La Ola
Oh.
was.
it was a burrito stand.
Yes,
I had no idea.
and a lot of those same great burritos are still on our menu today.
Nice.
The Lucy in the Sky, the Bye Bye Birdie.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And so Tom and Renate List, who now own List Distilleries downtown, were the owners.
How do you remember all this stuff, Tom?
Well,
I mean,
because it's his history.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't remember my history. I can hardly remember the high school I
Well-
went to. Well, I want to forget the high school days because I didn't have a
But you
girlfriend in
know-
high school or anything like that. So I prefer
Shocker.
to remember, disremember all that. So.
So I worked for them from approximately sometime
you
in
can't pull him
2011,
off.
2011 until October 2015, when I was able to purchase the place from them,
Nice.
and I've been the owner ever since.
And your employees that you had after the storm, I mean, I know you have some here, but I mean, I'm sure you keep in touch with them. Did they all find work?
Yeah, I mean, backing up, you talked about coming over the bridge that day, the first day coming back. My main concern that day was finding people, because I had staff, close people to me,
Yeah.
that we didn't know.
Mm.
We
Yeah.
knew the house that they were in went down, but we didn't know if everyone was okay. yet.
I remember Ty's video. He was one of the first. He was the night manager at Peach Time Out, and he was one of the
Yep.
first to go over there and take a video. And Bonnie from Plaka lived and passed away in the storm. And so
Bonnie was in the same home with 3 of my staff members.
No kidding. No kidding.
Yeah, well, I was very concerned for everyone,
and they were all okay.
except for Bonnie.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're what did they tell you about that? What happened? Like the storm just overtook their house and they had to swim.
Yeah, I mean, it was horrific what they went through. I mean, they got separated. I believe Lori was with Bonnie, and then Bonnie ended up drowning, succumbing, and Nick and Melissa found each other and were able to climb onto a pontoon boat and wrap themselves in life preservers as stuff was, the wind was blowing so hard stuff was beating against them.
Wow.
Lori spent the night, I think, with air conditioning stuff wrapped around her, trying to shield herself. I mean,
From the
it
wind.
had to have been, wind, water, everything. Yeah, yeah.
Did they say how high the water came up into the house?
Well, the water, they had been shooting videos, and the water was already up above the deck. And I'm not sure how. I think they said that the water was about halfway up the door when Nick finally he had to really use his shoulders to hold the door open for everyone to just start going out. Melissa
'cause
jumped
that
off.
pressure is coming
Melissa
in,
jumped off the deck as the deck collapsed
To get into the water, actually,
to get into the water.
which is
Well,
probably
where else are you
freezing
gonna
cold.
go? Well,
and then the girls got out, and then Nick was jumping out, the whole house collapsed.
Jesus
You
Christmas.
know, and was hitting him underwater. And I hope I get this story right, but I think that's the gist of it. Yeah.
And the violent, when you look at some of the houses now, the violence of that storm, like what it did to some of those houses, I can't imagine like being in the water at the same
With
time
all that going on,
stuff,
yeah.
because it's not only the wind and the water, it's the debris from the broken houses that you have to try and avoid.
and the waves and just where's that water taking you? You know, at that point too.
How are they doing?
Oof.
They're hanging in there. You know, this is going to leave a mark
Sure.
on everybody
Sure.
for a long time, but they're doing okay. They're doing okay.
And so you have decided not only to try and set something up right here in Times Square. You have set something up. You got live music. It's like a party every day because of you. You've decided to expand to Bell Towers. So tell us about what's going on there.
Yeah, I was excited last week. I got to finally announce that we're opening up a full bar restaurant, very similar business model to what Loyola has been, except just not on the beach. So the location is 4,300 square feet under air, and then we'll have another 1,800 square feet, over 1,800 square feet outside. To start out, we'll have tables and umbrellas, but we'll be pulling a permit to have a covered pergola or awning covering that entire space as well.
What is a pergola?
It's like the wood structure that goes over.
I see.
Yeah, well, a pergola normally is just slats, and they're wide enough so that they block the sun. They're in close enough proximity to each other. It's still open air,
Yeah.
but it blocks the
Yeah, it's
sun.
not
And a
like
covered
I mean, I knew what it was, but sometimes people watching don't know
covered
what it is.
pergola would have, a piece of either translucent. I think mine would have a translucent.
Yeah. I
top
love the
on it.
translucent pergolas. Yeah.
Do you want to ask what that is too?
No, I don't. We know. Come on, Tom. How dare you
Wow,
insult me
he's
like
gotten
that?
a couple good zingers in.
He got a big zinger
He
in that.
did.
He asked me if I was wearing a girl's tank top. Oh,
Is that
so-
because he wears them so
resist.
tight?
It's not that tight.
It's not the right size.
Well, when you don't
for
have any
dear.
body fat, I mean, it's hard to. So,
Wow, you're
Wow.
gonna have to make those headphones a
when-
little
when-
larger.
When will
pretty
you be
soon.
open?
That's a good question. Right now we're
Tom,
the
it's an obvious, easy question. It's not a
He didn't
good
say that. He said
question.
good question. Sorry.
well, it's a good question because I don't know the answer, to
I
tell
see.
you the truth. I would say early to mid-April is my best guess.
Oh,
Wow,
wow,
that's nice.
yeah.
And you got Scott Allen helping you out with
Yeah.
some really. That dude
Yeah.
knows what he's doing.
He sure does. And he was over there this morning, actually. And so we're going to be bringing in a bunch of new bar equipment. That's coming in around the 25th. We're going to be putting in some cabinets in the back bar and prepping it for some polished concrete bar tops.
Yeah.
Nice.
That are
Now
gonna
that
come-
sounds.
yeah.
So
Tom-
now we're in Bell Towers on 41 and Daniels. But it kind of it sprawls out over there. There's the
It does.
movie theater, and then there's a bunch of
Yeah.
shops and restaurants. So where kind of are you in relation to one of the anchor things over there?
Well, for people that aren't that familiar with Bell Tower, I think it's best described that if you're driving up and you got Costco on your right and you're at that intersection where Cypress Lake turns into Daniels right
Yep.
there on 41, if you're looking across diagonal from Costco, you see the big Bell Tower
Right.
sign there. And you can either take the left on 41 and then turn right into there. And from that angle, you see Dave and Buster's.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I'm just down around the corner from there. Or
Okay.
if you continue down Daniels, you take a left across from the Target Plaza.
Yep.
And that'll bring you in past the Regal Cinema.
Yep.
That's where I'll probably be parking most of the time, is in the parking lot that's shared with the Regal Cinema.
Okay.
And I'll walk past Grimaldi's and Blue Point.
Yep.
And just when I finish getting past Blue Point's outside tables will be where my tables will start in my entrance.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice, if you haven't been to Bell Tower. Bell Tower is nice. They have lots of shops. It's open air. It's well kept. It's well maintained. I mean, I like it there.
Yeah. And you spare no expense, man. It's going to look nice. That's why it's not open right now.
You have a good design aesthetic.
You know what you're doing.
I mean, I don't know if that comes from you, like you, or if you have somebody, but whoever has a good aesthetic for that.
Thank you. Yeah. We're going to put in a small stage. We're going to put up some. We've got some reclaimed wood type stuff that's going to have that old beach cottage look to it on the fronts of the bars. And
you know what's so cool, Tom, about Margaritas is that people from the beach still go and spend time with them. They know JJ and Jacinta, and they
that is the same.
Jason and Jacinta.
Jason.
What did I say? Oh,
JJ
sorry,
and
Jason and Jacinta, and they go down there and they support them. And it's going to be the same way. You know, you're going to have people from the beach come down there.
Yeah.
So are you going to have like a little area where there's just sand and people have to take their shoes off to get in the sand so that they can, oil
we'll get to
up?
the sand first. Jason and JJ are just
Yeah.
awesome people, and they're doing a great job down there, and that's a credit to them.
Yeah.
That people are following them down. But I don't think we're going to bring the sand
Have a
in.
sandbox.
Come on,
You know,
Tom.
I really don't. I think it's a bad idea.
How do you suck the bell out of that? I mean, that was a reversal of
No
bell.
kidding. You have a negative bell.
Oh, so
He's too polite to say
know, he
that is
is.
a dumb idea.
the minute he calls me a dumbass, I know Tom's in a bad mood. So you heading back up to your spot here, and you'll be there. I mean, you're there all the time, right? I mean, you got something going on with your kids today.
Well, today my 14-year-old has asked me to take him clothes shopping. He's growing so fast. He's going to be tall like me that his pants have turned into hip waders. So it's time.
Where do you
It's time
take
to
a
go shopping.
14-year-old shopping? I would have no idea.
I normally would go right down the road from my house. I'm in Iona to I think they were called Sanibel outlets. Used to be the Traeger outlets.
Right.
Yeah.
But now I've got to drive. So I'm thinking maybe Miramar.
Mhm.
What happened
That's a
to
good
the
option.
outlets? I did they get
The
wiped
Sanibel.
out?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I didn't even know that. I wasn't even
All
paying
flooded
attention.
out. Yep.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah.
Well, Tom, thanks so much, and we look forward to having a show down at Bell Tower when you open up down there. That's going to be,
That would be great.
yeah.
Yeah,
Look forward to
that'll
that.
be awesome.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tom from La Ola, and long time.
Thank you,
Look
everyone.
at you. Look at that. Look at that. Lots of love for Tom. Very nice. Thanks, Tom, and we'll
Thank
see you
you.
soon.
Thank
you.
very much
Thank
for
you
coming
so
on.
much.
Tom's been a
Thanks
great.
for the couple of zingers on Ed, because that was super fantastic.
Tom's been a great friend of the show for a long time. He's been a sponsor for 18 months, and he continues
He's
to
just-
be.
he's,
He's
Nice guy.
Yeah.
He's low maintenance. He's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
he's a super nice guy.
He's super tall.
What is he? 6'5"?
That's what he said.
6'5".
6'5". Yeah.
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 So before we get to, I have to read an ad, but
Okay.
before we get to that, I did find out, so I forgot to say it at the beginning of the show, but I did find out a little bit of news, everybody. Bayside Park, which I've been complaining about for how long, dear?
Ever.
I've been complaining about for like 8 weeks, 10 weeks, whatever it is, that they should fix Bayside Park so we could have little concerts here. We could have, people hanging out and having a good time. This is what I found out. Originally, Dan had said, well, I'm not saying that it was wrong, but originally Bayside Park was in like Kevin Guthrie's lane.
Okay.
Like Kevin Guthrie somehow was going to fix it. So
Remind people who Kevin Guthrie
Kevin
is.
Guthrie is he works for Governor DeSantis. He's
The DEM.
DEM guy.
Yeah.
So now it's in the hands of Governor DeSantis's wife. Like Casey, is that her name? Casey DeSantis. Casey DeSantis. She's got this like multi-million-dollar fund that she collected money from, and now that's in her pocketbook. So she apparently is going to assign $1.5 million to clean Bayside Park.
Wow.
And
That should do it.
yeah. So I'm like, who the person I was talking to this morning, I said, well, why? Well, I mean, when? Like, how about fixing it now? Why not fix it now? So I'm going to follow up on that. But that's what I heard this morning, that Casey DeSantis, the first lady of Florida, has now going to assign some of the money from. They got like a gigantic fund that they collected all this money from, that they're going to fix Bayside Park. You know what that means, though? That probably means a big press conference.
Yeah.
And the governor's probably going to be here, and they're probably going to want me to be up there on the stage with them.
Are they going to put a plaque up?
And they're probably going to put a plaque up with my name on it. I'm just kidding. So I'll keep everybody up to date on that. But right now I need to tell everybody about Jorge Barrera, who's in the house today. In case any of you didn't know this, Jorge is donating 10% of all his commissions to the local FMB Hurricane Relief Organization until the year 2025. That's like 10 years from now. I mean, or maybe 2 years from now, something like that. I'm not real good with math. So far, he's donated $25,000 to the Fort Myers Beach Women's Club. He was an active volunteer. If you went down to 820 Buttonwood back in the day, Jorge was always there, harassing people and helping people and eating free protein bars and unpacking water. And he paid for the bars, I'm sure. So give Jorge a call. If you're thinking about selling your property or buying property, or you just want somebody really cool to talk to from the community, somebody you could trust, it's Jorge Barrera. 239-791-9893. 239-791-9893. And that's his cell phone number, or maybe that's his wife's cell phone number. I don't know. But just call the number and you'll talk to Jorge one way or the other. We are broadcasting live from Wahoo Willies, as we do every Saturday. And our next guest is ready to roll, Laura Sanchez. Come on down, Laura Sanchez. Where'd my wife go? Oh, she had to go to the bathroom. I want to make sure I announced that she finally had to go to the bathroom during a show instead of me. So how are you doing, Laura?
I'm doing great.
Good.
How are you, Ed?
Good. Thank you so much for coming on.
You're welcome.
Thank you
Happy to come.
Thank you for being a supporter of the show. And why don't you tell everybody that's watching what you do?
I originate loans for a living, specifically renovation loans. So I have a condo on the beach here.
You live on Fort Myers Beach.
And
how did your condo do?
The building's there, but my unit's there on the 11th floor, but
you can't get in.
No power, no water, no sewer. So it makes it kind of hard to live there.
Yeah. I mean,
we're not allowed it.
I mean, why can't you live with no power, no water, and no sewer? I mean, what's the problem there?
Can't flush the toilet, can't drink out of the sink.
Right.
Yeah.
How long have you lived on the beach?
Actually, we bought the condo April of last year.
Yeah. Did you know a storm was coming? I mean, what were you thinking?
I know. When I bought my first house when I moved here, I got Hurricane Irma.
Yeah.
So every time I buy a property, something bad happens. So don't buy when I buy.
No buying for you anymore. Right. You're done buying.
Right. Yeah. So I want to get the island fixed up as best as I can, as quickly as I can. And the loans that I do can fix up your house, whether you own it or you want to buy the ugly and refix it up.
Okay.
And a lot of people don't know that you can get loans on properties that are less than perfect. And we have a lot of less than perfect here.
So Debbie says Laura was our loan officer when we bought our condo, and she did unbelievable things to get our loan through. What does that mean?
Well, the island has a lot of complications.
Yeah.
That you don't have up north. You know, you've got some condos have leased land, some have, the HOAs aren't perfect. So there's a lot that you approve when you go to get a condo approved, and the flood. There's a lot of factors that go into getting a condo approved.
Why is it better to talk to you than it would be to go get an SBA loan?
I don't know what the SBA loan in the long run is going to do, whether you're going to have to pay it back or not. Your loan on your home, your interest is tax deductible. You've got tax, benefits from getting a loan on your home. So it's a personal preference. I can't be everybody's, tax, accountant.
Well, I guess every time I hear, like, the SBA lady goes to the town council meeting almost every week, and she gives everybody an update and things. And I just like, every time a government person comes in front of you and wants to give you money, I'm like, there's something wrong with that. Like, it's like a vampire coming after you.
I don't want to talk bad about the SBA.
No, you don't have to. I will.
But no. But I'll just give you my own. Again, I applied for an SBA loan for the condo, and you give them 8,000 pieces of information. I need this, I need this, I need this. And I gave it to them. And I do have a day job. So I work every day. And I can't always answer the phone for every single human that calls. But when the SBA calls, you better talk to them, because if you don't, you can't reschedule.
Right.
So they called me and I said, I'm busy right now. Can we make an appointment to call? But it was a Tuesday. Can I make an appointment at noon on Thursday and we can talk? Well, you don't know how busy I am and how many other people I have to help. And
No
I'm like,
way. She said that to you?
she said that to me. Yes.
Somebody said it.
Yeah.
No, it probably wasn't the lady that goes to the
Right,
town council meeting, because she's always rainbows and sunshine.
Yeah, exactly. So I was on the phone with, wherever they are on the phone. And so I thought we had a time scheduled to set up. She didn't call me. So I called back in to the SBA and they said, oh, your loan is withdrawn. So she withdrew my loan on me instead of rescheduling for 2 days later to talk, because I couldn't talk at that specific time to her. So
Wow.
my personal bone with the SBA, and I've talked to, I was at that first Fort Myers Beach, Chamber of Commerce meeting 2 days ago, and there was a woman at our table that said exactly the same thing, that they withdrew her loan and she had to reapply. And they're just it's not the easiest
When the
thing
government
to do business with.
when the government comes to you and says, I want to help you, you really should run as fast
We're
as
from
you
the
can.
government and we're here to help.
Yeah.
I know. So anyway,
Yeah, we don't want to. Go ahead.
so
Tell us.
now I have to reapply to get that money and whatever. But there's a lot of people that own here, that own free and clear, and you can't get an equity line, you can't get the normal loans because your property's not habitable. So if you own the home and want to use a loan to rehab, you can. If you're looking to buy here for a good deal, because people are selling less than what the fixed value is, you get a good deal.
Yeah.
You renovate it.
Are people selling for less than what they
A little
really
bit less, yeah.
Why are they doing that? Because they just want to get out?
Yes.
They see what's in front of them and they just want the money.
A lot. I mean, we have so many people that don't live here,
Okay.
Right.
and they can't
Just get what I can get for it.
Yeah. I mean, I've talked to so many people from other states and they're on the fence, depending on when they bought,
They're on the fence with the 50%.
Whether to
they're on
whether
the,
to stay and
whether to rehab or sell it.
I see.
right.
Yeah.
And so they're good deals, it sounds like.
Yeah. I think there are some good deals. I mean, I wish I had a lot of money right now,
No
but
kidding.
I don't.
No kidding.
But it really is a good time to buy. And if you study history and everywhere that there's been a catastrophic storm like this, like a Sandy, which was
Mhm.
very similar, all of those home prices, and I'm not a realtor, I'm not going to try to pretend one like I am on TV. So,
Right.
Do you print to be
Just
one
the-
on TV?
but no,
Just
Oh.
looking at the data.
just looking at the data myself, like I look at data for vaccines and stuff. Anyway, so looking at the data.
Well, what did you find out about the vaccine?
You should not
I
have
know.
opened that one.
Did you get vaccinated?
No.
Okay.
Anyway, so
Because
Everywhere
the data
that-
was bad about
the data was bad
I
on the
agree with you
efficacy, on
that.
the efficacy.
Yeah.
So everywhere that they've had that, the home prices have gone up, not down.
Yeah.
And the rents have gone up. Everything's gone up. So,
But sometimes you hear the stories like with Steve, the house was passed down from his parents. And,
yeah, and
you
it's
know,
in the family.
They maybe
Yeah.
they can't afford to rebuild, but they feel like, they can't not
Let it
be
go
yeah,
either,
because
yeah.
it's they almost feel guilty that they're
Giving up the
family-
legacy.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
Right. Right.
It's just so many different stories like that.
Right.
We get emails all the time about
Mhm.
these
Right.
stories. It's like you just want to sit and cry every time
Oh,
you read it because
absolutely.
of what people have
Yep.
gone through.
And
And then-
insurance.
And then people have to deal with the insurance and deal
Exactly.
with the,
That's the next
SBA.
thing I was going to talk about was the insurance. So we all know that we're here. Wind is fighting flood. Flood is fighting wind.
And
Which
they're
came
all in it
first?
together. Yeah.
Chicken or the egg?
Yeah.
And that's what no one can pay. Again, I'm still not. I got $1,000 from my insurance company.
Stop.
I know.
1,000.
Yes, because that was the time period where there was an evacuation order.
Say what?
That was their logic. I'm like, how did you come up with the math for $1,000? Oh, there was a 2-week evacuation order. I'm like, what does that even
There
mean?
wasn't a
Was the-
2-week evacuation
that
order.
was their answer. I'm just saying, insurance
You
isn't
need to
paying.
talk to that guy with the visor
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
Insurance
yeah.
isn't
Public
paying.
adjuster.
Well, I went to the Florida insurance, whatever. There's a
It's insane.
department.
Yeah.
To
But
try
there
to put a
wasn't a
case.
2-week evacuation order. It was like a 2-day
You're
evacuation
talking
order.
when you're talking to somebing from
Yeah, that
8,000
doesn't give a
states
crap.
away, and
But when you wrote your check to the insurance company
Yeah,
every month or
Yeah,
whatever at
still
the end
do.
of the year.
still do.
Did you just decide one year, I don't want to write the check,
No.
but I still want the insurance? Is
Correct.
that okay?
Yeah,
Right.
Can we
no,
do
right.
that?
It doesn't work that way.
No, of course
Doesn't
it doesn't
work
work
that
that way
I
until
know.
it's time for them to screw you.
Exactly. So
Can you let her talk for a minute?
Sorry.
no,
Sorry,
no, no,
Laura.
no, no, no. So I'm just there's also I do a lot of, again, you can probably tell I do a lot of research before
Right.
before I do anything. So before I came down here to really look into all the renovation stuff, I looked into insurance. I looked into the types of construction and things like that. What can you rebuild? I went to a Matt Caldwell seminar on the 50-50 rule. And, so I've done all of that to see when do you need it, when do you not, when do you have to go up, the BFE or whatever it's called, the base flood elevation.
Yeah.
It sounds like BFD, but it's BFE.
not to be,
not the
not
BFD.
to be confused with.
Not to be confused with the BFD. So, there's some people that can just renovate as it is. There are some people that are going to have to go up. It just depends on,
the
how badly
situation that you're in,
on the situation you're in
and where the property is.
Right. And we also have unique things here. We have very expensive real estate here compared to, a 1,200 square foot house here is not going to be the same price as a 1,200 square foot house in downtown Detroit. It just won't be,
Right.
So our prices are very high on a per square foot basis. So that makes a big difference too. And that whole 50-50 thing. But you've got some nice, they've got a lot of contractors that are coming in with some really nice products like the modular homes. I've seen a lot of really cool modular homes, very beachy looking companies that have done
Trying
a lot
to
of
keep that
Yes.
beach aesthetic down
exactly,
here.
exactly. So if you have to rebuild with what you have to go up, so there's a lot out there for people that don't have enough, that insurance didn't give them enough money. They don't want to get an SBA loan, but they do want to get a mortgage on the property so they can write off the interest on their taxes. So
Before you came on, someone said to me, I think I heard it was hard to get mortgages on the beach before this. I can't imagine what it's like now.
Well,
so,
this is a different type of loan, and we have these types of mortgages for purchase and renovate or refinance and renovate if you already have it.
okay, so there's specific mortgages for those scenarios.
For those scenarios.
It's not like your 30-year
right.
bloody.
And our jumbos go up to $3 million. So
What's a jumbo?
So
like just a jumbo loan, just
right.
like a
Fannie and Freddie decide every year what that jumbo cap is, and it's 726,200. So any loan amount that's over 720, it's huge now. It used to be like at the 400s, and now it's it's big. So we have a lot of products for the more expensive, when it gets more expensive.
Now, are the interest rates the same, or do they vary a lot, or you got to shop that around, or how does that work?
There's very few products that you can shop for. There's very few lenders that actually do this. You can find them, but I used to work for Wells Fargo a million years ago and did renovation loans, and they had this many.
Wow.
We have renovation, and not that you'd use it here because the loan sizes are too small, but we have VA renovation, FHA renovation, conforming renovation, jumbo renovation. So there's a lot. It depends on the individual and the property, which one fits for you. But a lot of people don't even know that VA renovation exists. So
VA, like
a VA loan.
Like a VA loan.
Yes, VA used to be, it has to be a perfect house or you can't buy it. But no, there are, and even USDA, but we're not rural. But there's a lot of different products out there. And the company I work for has the most that I've seen. I'm not saying they are, but they've had the most that I've seen.
Like a
products.
menu of.
Right, a menu to fit. So, I think the hardest part is the insurance, getting builder's risk insurance, things of that nature, not the loan itself, but we're screwed by the flood and everything else that happened, because it really was a tsunami more than a hurricane, in my opinion.
What did you think? Did you think that the government waited too long to shoot that balloon down, or it was just the right time? What was your thought on that?
It should have been shot down the minute it got close to Alaska.
I agree with that. I agree. Why? Unless you think that we're reconning the recon balloon somehow. You got to think that we are smarter than the Chinese.
No.
We're not smarter than the Chinese?
The people that are in charge of shooting it down, I don't think so.
Do you think Biden just fell asleep when it was time for him to decide to shoot the balloon down?
I'm not sure he's ever awake. If it's not for ice cream, except for ice cream, he does wake up for ice cream.
Yeah. Do you think he gets ice cream like at 5 o'clock, like a senior citizen does, or 7 o'clock, or 8 o'clock?
Wow.
Why?
Is my dad watching?
Your dad won. No, your dad won. Your dad's.
I think if there were other people in charge of the presidency, I doubt it would have made it across the United States. and into the Gulf.
And I
because-
don't think anyone's buying the whole, it was a weather balloon.
Wait a minute. Did you hear when Biden said we couldn't shoot it down over Montana because it would have hit a school?
Right.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yes, it
Really?
would have hit a school.
I
Like-
wonder if
like-
if it did hit a school, if they would rebuild it. I mean,
I would like to know how many schools there are in the state of Montana. And divide that by the
Seems
square
like
foot.
there's a lot of space out there, right?
You think?
if
Yeah.
Joe Biden shot down a balloon over Montana and it landed on a school with 50 kids or less, would they rebuild it?
Have you seen
That's
Yellowstone?
dark.
Have you
We
seen
love
Yellowstone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
There's a lot of land in that.
there's a lot of land in
yeah.
Yellowstone. That's
I
just
haven't seen a
part of-
school yet.
No, I haven't
Yeah.
either.
A lot of land on a horse or
There has to be schools there, though.
in Yellowstone.
Montana. No, in Montana.
Right, but
Oh,
I
sure.
think the odds
Not
of hitting
Yellowstone
one are.
Park.
I think
Right,
that
right.
you're more likely to hit an elk, maybe, or something.
I would think you could. I would think if we can go to the moon, we can bring it down in a targeted manner.
I would
you know?
They
hope.
can
I would hope they let it go because they were doing some counter surveillance on it. That's the only thing
you
you
can hope, but I doubt it. I mean,
Yeah.
the precision that we shoot things in other countries, like pinpoint to the exact thing, you're
Yeah.
telling me with all that precision
Well,
and
that's what I'm saying,
engineering.
I'm thinking some kid in Montana with a BB gun could have taken that thing down
it
at
was
the right
a little
time.
high.
So, do you think? What do you think
Beth
of John?
Dutton is out
What do
there.
you think of John? What do you think of John Dutton as a governor?
If the character or the actor, the character would be good.
Yeah.
The actor, I don't know. He's on the fence. He was, all with what's her face out there that speak not her name.
I'm sorry. You're totally lost me there. What? Speak not her name. What does that mean?
Persona non grata to her, I guess.
Right.
Somebody on the show or somebody in real
No,
life?
no.
What's
A
her
real
face's
life
daughter?
politician.
The
Do you think that?
He's just going to move on
Yeah.
now.
yeah. Good
What's
idea.
what's the guy's name that shot in the movie set? What's the guy's name?
Alec Baldwin?
Yeah. Do you think he
Oh.
actually should have been charged with murder?
Yes,
Yeah. So
he did.
Do you
He
think,
murdered somebody. I mean,
yeah.
whether it's first degree, second degree, third
Yeah.
degree. I mean, it's third degree murder, but he murdered her.
Yeah. You think he should go to jail?
For murdering somebody, yes.
Yeah.
I believe
Because-
anybody.
Yeah. Because you don't
I
think people
believe
should get
that's
away
an
with
open
murder.
Shut thing for her.
Because people shouldn't get away
He
with
wasn't
murder.
now he wasn't defending his own property.
No.
That's
Not
a whole
at
different
all.
story. That's not the castle law.
Gotcha.
That's not what's happened.
Yeah.
What happened in Arizona? That poor 73-year-old man.
Yeah. It's a crazy
different-
world we live in.
It is.
It is.
It is.
That is
So-
for
What's
sure.
not crazy is wanting. What's not crazy is wanting to fix up Fort Myers Beach.
Right.
There
That
you
is
go. Way
not-
to bring it back
I am.
around.
I am Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah. How much
Full
money?
circle.
How much money do you have access to?
Millions and millions and millions and
No
millions.
kidding.
Millions.
Wow.
Yeah. Millions.
And you just do mortgages.
Yeah, that's
Not
it.
like car loans
No.
or anything like that.
No,
Okay.
no,
just
no, no,
mortgages.
just mortgages, just mortgages. So I do that, and
Now,
so
so
shout
you
out. I
do
want to.
the,
go ahead.
you do the mortgage, and then does that include the title search and all of that stuff, or that's a whole nother area?
The title when you do a loan, you have to have a title search
Okay.
on the property, and that you have to have a title company whenever or attorney in Florida. We can use
So
an attorney.
even in this sort of situation where
Yes.
something might be
yeah,
not there,
it's well, we do full construction loans too. So a new construction loan means it's a slab.
okay.
Yeah, you can't.
But you still have to do a title search on the
Yes.
slab.
Well, yeah. Someone could have put liens on it, and you have to know.
How do you put a lien though on something if it's not there? You mean a lien on the land?
The liens. Anybody can lien your property if you owe them money. I mean, if you don't
So
pay
the
your back
actual
child support, they
ground.
can wind up. Yeah. So yeah,
Not the building, the actual
Right.
ground. Okay.
right,
Hmm.
right.
So
right.
Laura, how do people contact you if they're ready to borrow some money? What is the interest rate
Or
these
if they
days?
want
Did
to
you already
know
talk about
anything
that?
else that involves data,
right,
Or Yellowstone?
right.
Yellowstone,
All
yes.
things Yellowstone and data. Yeah, I'm a data junkie. I'm actually a civil engineer by trade. So
Oh, well,
believe it
there
or
you
not.
go.
Do you think
well,
the,
that
uh,
explains it.
Yeah, I know. I'm a numbers person.
Yeah.
So
Do you-
I'm.
Do you think
He's horrible at math, so
do you think the coronavirus was purposely lifted from the Wahoo lab?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Wow.
The-
Yeah. The Wahoo lab.
Wuhan.
Wuhan, Wahoo.
Wahoo is yeah.
Why don't I
Wahoo-
say
yeah,
Wahoo
I
lab?
know, I know.
Don't
Wahoo
disparage
lab.
the Wahoo. Never
No, I
disparage the
know.
Wahoo.
The Wahoo Willie lab.
Wuhan.
Wuhan. but-
Wuhan.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I did want to give one shout out though to Governor DeSantis
Of
because
course, we love him.
I've been doing loans for 22 years.
And you lent him money.
And I've lent people money. No, I didn't lend him money, but I've never been a big fan of down payment assistance programs ever because the interest rates are always higher and blah, blah, blah. However, this Hometown Heroes program that they came up with And I just heard that when they go back to Congress, Pasadomo and the senator,
Mhm.
they're all going to not only
Not
re-up
Congress,
it.
not Congress, the
our-
state
our-
legislature.
The state
Yeah,
legislature,
yeah.
right? The state legislature. I call it Congress, but anyway, sorry. They're going to not only extend it, but extend it
Well,
beyond.
what is it?
just-
Explain what it is.
Oh,
Go
it's
ahead.
down payment assistance. It started out as down payment assistance for heroes, first responders,
Sure.
nurses, teachers, everybody that was hurt through the pandemic and all that, and veterans. So they tagged on the veterans to that. So if you're a first-time home buyer, veterans did not have to be first-time home buyers, but if you were a first-time home buyer, they would give you up to 5% of your loan amount as down payment assistance, up to $25,000.
Right.
Cool.
That's real money. And so they're going to extend it. So now what I've heard is you don't have to be a hero. It's for all first-time home buyers, and they're going to bring it up to 35,000, which is huge. Huge.
I think
so
That's going to benefit
and the
a
rates-
lot of people.
it will, and the rates are lower than what's on the street.
And when they
So-
say first time homeowner, it's got to be first time ever, or is it like
It's a
first
3-year
time-
look back.
That's it.
Yes.
That's
What-
important.
If you haven't owned a home, and let's say your spouse owned a home a year ago in Ohio, and you can qualify for the loan on your own, you're still a first-time home buyer. They just can't be on the loan. So
When
that could work.
I think
Yeah.
I know the answer to this, but
I could get my own place.
do you, and I have a feeling that our live studio audience might jump in. Do you think Ron DeSantis should be the next president of the United States?
See, I'm on the fence.
What?
I am. I know. I'm
What
gonna
is wrong with you?
I know. I want him to be our governor
She
for
wants
4
him to
years.
stay. Yeah,
No.
yeah, yeah.
I'm not saying never. I voted for him to be our governor.
Yeah.
I don't know that I trust anybody that anybody's yet prepped well enough to be as strong as him. I don't see anybody as strong as him that can take over
Mm.
if he leaves.
It's a totally red state, though. It's totally
But,
Republican.
yeah, there's a lot of rhinos out there.
Really?
Yeah,
Do you think Adam Botana is a rhino?
I don't think so.
Yeah, why would you
I don't
say
think so.
that?
I just want to get somebody
I
else's
voted-
opinion.
No, I
don't.
voted for him. No,
So did
I voted for him.
Yeah.
But you
You
need
never
to
know
have
what the people think.
you
dear.
need to
gotta
have
ask the
somebody.
people.
You need to have somebody really waiting in the wings. You can't leave anything to. You can't leave anything to chance anymore.
Yeah.
You can't.
What
You
about
can't.
Pasadomo?
She's great. I love her.
We
You
trying to
can't
get her
leave
on the
anything
show.
to chance. So that's why
Do you
want to
know what the
have
bumper
a dump
sticker-
button for him because he
If you
says
go out
dumb
back
things.
and look at my Jeep,
Yeah.
on the back of my Jeep, there's a bumper sticker,
Yeah.
and it says "Make America Florida." And you know whose bumper
Nice.
stickers those are? Kathleen Pasadomo.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
you
get.
got some juice with her that you can you get her on the show here.
I can try.
You know her?
No,
Oh,
I don't.
was gonna say.
I can-
So,
She'll
have-
call her
have-
She
anyways.
came to an event that I went to, and she was selling her bumper stickers. And I'm like,
Have you loaned her money?
I have not.
What do you think of the Trumpster?
I voted for him,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I would again if he.
What if there was a primary between Trump and DeSantis?
That would be very difficult because I probably still go Trump because I want Ronnie here. I want
Yeah.
him to continue.
Why do you
his
call him
mission.
Ronnie?
I
Like
just did. I don't
it sounds like Ronnie Reagan
No,
when
no.
you say it, Ronnie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I really think that we haven't been. Look at it. He won by what?
Somebody says, "Is she from Fox News?"
he
That was great, Joe.
He no, that is funny. So when he won the first time,
Yeah, who?
was it Ron DeSantis?
Ron, yeah.
Was it a landslide?
No,
Not even close.
that
was by
crazy crack guy was so close.
The crackhead. He had a margin.
Yeah.
My fingers are thinly split,
Yeah.
this far apart. A tiny margin. That we could go back there really quickly. We haven't solidified that 20%
See, here's
win.
what I
You're
think.
worried about that?
Yes.
Here's what I think.
Yes.
You want to hear what I think?
Yeah.
And nobody cares what I think.
I do,
but
but I do.
I don't.
So
I
I
listen to you
think-
on the radio. I
Here's-
mean, I do want to know
Here's
what
what
you
I think. I think DeSantis should run for
Nobody
president,
does.
and Byron Donalds should run for governor.
Yeah, that would be great.
I mean, he's perfect.
If he would.
and he would win in a landslide.
Young.
Yeah.
He's killing it in
Oh,
Congress right
absolutely.
now. He's killing it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he was in the
Absolutely.
speaker fight, which just
yeah.
elevated him. So
Yeah, if you don't follow him, get updates
on
from
the
what
Twitter,
he does.
do you follow him on the
No,
Twitter?
I follow him.
On the
No.
Twitter.
You actually,
I
subscribe
don't even
to
have a
his
Twitter account.
You have to subscribe to his website, and you will get
Oh,
daily
does it
updates on what
cost
he
anything?
does. No.
I see.
No.
Of course.
But it gives you an insight to all the things that he's doing. I do.
No,
Yes,
I love him. He's great. He's
Well,
been on
you're
the show.
collecting data.
I am collecting data.
I have a cell phone
always.
number. Do you?
No,
Oh,
I don't.
I'll give it to you.
But I have the cell phone number for his assistant.
There you go.
And-
oh, he's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Jesse. Is that who you're talking about?
No.
Oh
we're
no,
talking
his assistant up there. Never mind.
No. Yeah.
You're
When-
talking
the-
about
the-
Botana's assistant. aren't
Oh,
you?
No.
okay. Getting among.
There, you're
No,
so low. We're
I'm
talking
sorry.
about Congress.
I'm
You're talking
sorry.
about the state legislature. Come on, go with the program.
Sorry.
He has a whole VA team, and I'm
Yeah.
involved with the VA team because I love to get veterans back in homes if I
So
can.
let me ask you a
anyway,
serious
it's whole
question.
Other thing.
So you're very involved in politics. Like, does that affect your business at all? Because people say that if you get political, you
Yeah.
piss off 50%
That's why I
of the
moved
people.
here.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, this is the
I never get
One
political.
state.
Thanksgiving, are you working with Democrats? Will you give
I
a
never, ever go there
turn
with.
anyone away.
yeah.
Well, no, exactly.
Or,
I never
or
go
have
to-
a conversation.
I
about
don't
it.
have that conversation. If someone else wants to have a conversation with me, they have to initiate it.
Yeah.
But
It's
if you
always
ask me a
good, like-
question, I'm going to answer it. I'm
Right.
not.
I love
I'm
that,
Popeye.
yeah.
I am who I
Politics.
am.
Politics, religion, and finances.
Yeah.
Although you have
Finances.
to have a
I mean,
financial
I'm
conversation.
Catholic, and yesterday I was actually taking a loan application for some Lutherans, and I
How
know
dare
that they're.
you.
I
Wow.
know they're Lutherans. I
and
know
the building was still standing.
No,
after.
their building is whatever,
Yeah.
but they teach at a Lutheran school.
So speaking of finances,
but that was a.
I know.
we wound up talking religion because he works for a Lutheran
Really?
school. So.
like, what kind of religion? I mean, when you talk about religion, what do you talk about? Do you believe in God, or
I never
No,
talk
just
about
the-
religion.
Oh, I
with-
thought you
with
said you were
clients.
talking about religion. with me.
Because the guy was a
We
teacher.
were-
Yeah,
Oh,
he was a
you guys
teacher
were-
at a Lutheran school. So
What do you think of the school board?
Our school board
Yeah.
needs to. There's still more changes. There's still some people that
Yeah.
need to come off the Lee County School Board that are on it.
Do you think that school superintendent should be an elected position, or
That's a tough one
I know.
because
I don't.
I was 50-50 on that. Now I said that it should be elected, but there's a lot of people that I believe and trust that were actually literally running for the board,
Right.
but that said no, that they need to do it. The problem is when you don't have an educated masses, when you don't have an educated crowd that's voting, you never know what you're going to get.
Sleepy
When-
Joe?
Yeah, exactly. So if you have a board that's very educated in what they do, they probably have a better idea than the masses. My problem is I do the research on all the people,
Yeah.
so I know,
Well, yeah.
but I'm not everybody. So
Right,
that's why
right.
it makes it tough.
So, like, I was talking to somebody the other day, and he thinks Spencer Roach is going to run for school board. I'm like, Spencer Roach? I mean, what does
Right.
he know about
Right.
the school board? Like, I know
Well,
you have to. She has
I
to
have no
abstain from
idea.
the
You
school
I have no
issues.
idea.
Yeah, you should have some knowledge.
It
of
seems like people like
schools.
this superintendent, though. It seems like
I hope
he's
so.
a like
I
person.
hope so. This might come as a shock to you, but I was one of those parents down at the school board meetings too.
Doing what?
When they had the whole mask mandate and things
Yeah.
like that.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah,
when
yeah.
they're
You think
making
masks-
That got hot and heavy.
It did.
Whoa.
Do you
It
think
did.
masks work?
No.
No.
There
the
apparently
data shows that they don't.
So there was a fight that broke out that was videotaped.
Yeah.
And whoever was in that altercation, I mean, it wasn't a fight, it was an altercation, must have looked like me because I had 2 or 3 people calling me and asking. I'm like,
She gets in fights all the time.
No. Nope, definitely
And don't
not.
forget,
Let's
there's-
put that to rest.
There's a lot
Was
of
not
people
me.
that try to provoke
Yeah.
like
Well,
that
people
poke the bear to see if you can,
Oh
know.
yeah,
Yeah.
we know about that.
Yeah.
We know about that. Laura.
People get
So-
heated when they're passionate about something.
Yeah.
So
And
what
I
are you
walk
what are
away.
you doing today? What's your plan for the day?
Well, I'm gonna go back home.
Yeah.
I do a Saturday swim at the rec center, and I do a
Nice. How
swim.
far do you swim?
Yeah.
For about an hour. And then
What's
just
that? 3-4
laps.
miles?
No, it's not that far. I'm a very slow swimmer.
Where's the
But
rec
that's-
center?
yeah, it's-
Benita, I'm Benita
Is it a lap
Springs.
pool?
I'm guaranteeing you're doing a
When you-
mile in
When
there.
you
At
go
least,
to the
yeah.
end of the
Yeah.
pool, do you do the flip and then the
I-
push off?
Nope.
Oh, you
Yeah,
do the
me
girly.
neither.
No,
can't
I touch
do
and turn.
Oh,
Yeah,
you do
I
the
can't
girly
do the
thing.
flip.
Yeah, I've never been able
the
to do
water
it.
goes up. I'm
I go
afraid I'm gonna hit my
sideways.
head.
I go
Yeah.
sideways. I don't know.
That's
My
when-
son laughs at me all the time. He's like, "Why can't you do?"
That's
I'm
when
like, I don't know.
that's
I
when
don't
the 80-year-old men with the skull caps on pass you, right? Because they're
Well,
doing the
you
flips.
can't do any of it.
No, I hate swimming.
He swims with his head above water. I'm like, it's like
For some reason, when I swim, my feet like keep coming down.
that's
I can't
because
keep
you
my
have
feet
your
up.
head up.
'Cause
If
I'm
you
afraid
would
I'm gonna
put your head
drown.
down,
Exactly.
the buoyancy would keep
Right.
you up.
Okay.
Your
It's
head
physics,
down. It
and I
is.
know
Your
math
head
is
down.
Whatever you
thing.
say, Olympic
No,
swimmer.
your head down forces
that's
your
your feet
butt up.
Yeah.
Just the way it works.
I'd like to jump over walls and break things. I don't care about the
You
the
haven't been
graceful
doing that
thing.
very
or,
much
no,
lately.
no. I
It's
can't even-
peaceful. It's quiet. Nobody's
Yes.
bothering you. Nobody's going,
Yes.
Mom,
Right.
Mom.
And
You get that a lot
you
all the
have to
time.
get in a rhythm of breathing.
from your kids or other kids? Just-
Just
You have to get in a rhythm of breathing that
Yes,
allows
it
you to
calms you.
kind of
Yeah.
bring you down.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
Boy, you really need to lay off the coffee. I know whoever that lady is now is going to start saying I'm being too mean to you, but really, you need
What?
to lay off the coffee.
Laura, did I offend you at all today?
No,
not
not at
that
all.
you're offensive, but you can't let anyone answer or get a word in edgewise.
Can we do this after the show? Can this be like the post-mortem of the show, not on the show,
You're
where you
going to have a
criticize?
post-mortem. Go ahead.
Wow.
I'm waiting for her to pipe
Laura,
up
how do
there.
people get in touch with you so that you can give them millions of dollars?
They can just call or text me. Call my cell 216-272-1015.
Call your cell. Very nice.
Yeah.
10:15.
Yeah, that's the best way to reach me. I have an office number, but I'm not always in the office, which is a 239 number, but I'm not always there.
And
so.
how did you hear about the show? Like, we appreciate you sponsoring the show, and you've been a great guest, by the way, and not just because you're a sponsor, because we want, if you need to borrow
You should
money.
get a number that ends like 1040.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
that would be
Well,
a
when
easy
after
one to remember.
it truly was after the hurricane. It was from multiple sources. Like people were telling me when I wanted to find out what was happening on the beach, they said, tune into Beach Talk Radio. And that's how I keep updated, because you've helped so many non-residents with what's going on here. And, Deb, who's out there listening, I mean, she doesn't live in this state. She has a condo here, and she said that's the only way I could keep up with what's going on. So you're really helping a lot of people out there.
Well, thank you.
And then I also heard from some local people that I know here that live here that you've got to, listen to what's going on here. And I loved it. So I said, if I like something, I'll support something.
Well,
so.
thank you. And that's the one thing that I've said it 1,000 times, and I know people are going to get tired of me saying it, is that we realized how many people from across the country love Fort Myers Beach, because they just wanted to see what their beach looked like. They wanted to see how the recovery was going, and
now
from
with
everywhere.
The mayor, Mondays with the mayor. I mean, you really know what's going on, and people need to know that. I mean, there's people that still haven't been here since it happened that own property.
You brought up about people being everywhere, and because I'm typing out a lot of the shipping labels, there are some really funny towns. And the other day I was like, I gotta remember this. Somebody lives in Suntan Valley, Arizona.
I know some of the names of the towns. I always respond to them.
That's a cool place.
And I say, you live on the coolest street I've ever heard of.
Coolest town.
Right.
Yeah. There's been
a lot of Wisconsin, a lot of Minnesota.
Yeah, there's still
Illinois, Indiana.
Yeah. Iowa. A ton.
No, Canadians. There's a lot of Canadians that own here.
We have a problem with the Canadians.
No, we don't have a problem. We have a problem shipping.
Yeah, we love the Canadians.
Yeah.
It's just like
the
it costs so much.
But they can use YouTube
prohibitive.
too.
I check this out. I got an email from a guy who wants to buy one cup, and he lives in the United Kingdom. And I said, dude, we can't ship one cup to the United Kingdom. He goes, you're gonna break my wife's heart. She just wants one cup for her birthday. I'm like, it's gonna cost you $700 for one of these freaking rubber cups.
Right. Fly her here
and
we'll
hand
have her
it to
pick
her.
it up.
And he's so nice, but we have to figure out how to.
I don't know. I don't know
the Canadian thing has been crazy.
Yeah.
And the UK is the other one that we need to figure out.
I'll go on. I'll take it.
If you would have,
right.
But it was just like one cup.
Right.
Can we get it made over there so we could just go pick it up from the corner store?
Yeah, but you guys really are helping a lot of people.
Thank you.
I want to thank you, because I don't know that I would have learned as much without
Thank you.
So.
Well, thank you.
Laura Sanchez, everybody. If you need millions of dollars, thank you. Thank you so much, Laura. Thank you for coming on.
A civil engineer or someone to collect data. She's your girl.
Data. All right. So if you want to know about for
I'm
1
done
minute,
with you.
no, you're coming back because you need to apologize to me. Power Block Builders, everybody. They built over 500 to 600 structural shells, for tract homes builders, and they are a custom home builder in Cape Coral. They have a model in Northeast Cape Coral that they're now doing open houses, and they want to offer a model specifically made for Fort Myers Beach. Hurricane impact windows, elevated concrete columns, tiled throughout, LED recessed lighting, metal roof, granite countertops. It's all Power Block Builders. Call Oscar. He is kicking ass on Fort Myers Beach. Again, folks, we're only putting people out there that we trust. We talk to the folks. We don't just get a phone call one day. I want to advertise on your show because we see you've got 75,683 followers, and we want access to them. No, we check them out so that we know that you can trust them if you give them a call. It's Power Block Builders, and check them out online. and give them a call if you're looking to build your dream home on Fort Myers Beach. And who wouldn't want to build their dream home on Fort Myers Beach? If I had money from Laura Sanchez and I could buy a piece of property, I'd call and build my dream home. It would be a tiny house because, I don't really need a big house. I just need an office. I need an office with a computer and maybe 2 offices so I could put all the hoodies out and the hats out and the cups out and get them out on time. So call Power Block Builders. Also, ATM Mortgage wants to know if it's time for you to do a little home improvement around the house. ATM Mortgage offers lines of credit and rehab, loans for simple or the complex project. Simple or complex. We've got all kinds of those projects on Fort Myers Beach. Maybe not so many simple. Maybe more complex than simple. Call Kim Henderson. She's here to help 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. You can reach Kim at 239-849-6999. Thank you, Carolyn, for saying great and knowledgeable guests and fun. Got to have fun because you got to be informational and entertaining. If you're not informational and entertaining, you're boring. Because if you're just informational, if you're just putting information out there and you're not entertaining, nobody cares. If you're just trying to be entertaining and you don't have good information for people that love Fort Myers Beach, nobody cares. Call Kim Henderson, 239-849-6999. Just to recap about Bayside Park, it's now in the hands of Casey DeSantis, the First Lady of Florida. She is going to come down with shovels and brooms and rakes, and she is going to fix Bayside Park. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Casey DeSantis' public email address on our Facebook page so that you can email her and say, it's time to fix Bayside Park. Because when Bayside Park gets fixed, it's not going to be such a clusterfester in Times Square. People are going to come down and enjoy the park. The park was beautiful before the storm came through. And it's time to fix Bayside Park. So, First Lady, please come down and fix Bayside Park. We'd really appreciate that. All the people on Fort Myers Beach would. Dear, are you coming back for the grand finale of the show? Yellow Army, yeah. They ain't no doubt about it, Rhonda. You could have fixed it. Yes, sir. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Good to see you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're very popular. Yeah. Just ask me. Thank you for coming out this morning. All right, we're about ready to finish the show.
And then we'll be down there. Yeah. And somebody else is down there wants to say hello.
About what?
So, well, I'll tell you after the show.
So how do we get Casey DeSantis on the show, the First Lady of Florida?
I mean, I guess
you pull
can
some strings? Can you call Kevin Guthrie?
I can call him. I did that one time. I did. So I left a message. I texted him one time. I was like,
did it go through to his phone?
Yeah, and then we met when
That's right.
DeSantis was down, and I was like, by the way, that was me.
No, their people came over and they were very nice.
Yeah.
And I've got in touch with his people, and I said, can you have Kevin come on the show? Can you have Kevin come on the show? Because everything's about Kevin Guthrie.
They're
Kevin
really
Guthrie.
busy,
and they never really get back to you.
I know,
so.
but I think that they're busy. They're busy.
Yeah.
Busy. They don't have time.
Well,
for your
it's
dinky
now we know that it's in the hands of the First Lady of Florida.
Okay.
So I'm going to put the public email address of the First Lady on our Facebook page so that people can send Casey DeSantis, who's a lovely lady, and and say it's time for you to come down and fix Bayside Park.
Well, just polite.
Sheriff's deputies are coming down. The sheriff's deputies are here, and hey, ladies and gentlemen, can we have a big hand for the Lee County Sheriff's Department?
Talk about hometown
Thank
heroes.
Thank you. Yeah, for sure. Look at that. Did they even recognize it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did they put their hands on their guns? Like, what's going on?
No. Somebody ducked down. Maybe it was.
Yeah. Oh gosh. All right, everybody.
Marie,
so we will be back.
Appropriate.
We'll be back Monday for Mondays. Oh, tomorrow night, Super Bowl Sunday.
Yep.
We'll be at Margarita's.
Yep.
For who's going to win the game, the Chiefs or the Eagles? Nobody cares here. Nobody cares here. We'll be there at 5:00 for an hour show, and then on Monday for Mondays with the mayor. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for following along to our show. You can always support the show by donating a cup of coffee. I'm going to put that up there. If you'd like to do that, that'd be great.
That lady was so sweet this morning. She goes, I don't do Venmo. I don't do any online stuff, but here's some money for your coffees after she bought some shirts. So sweet. And we love it when people come out, when you all come up and say hello. You know, I hope you feel like we're approachable because we feel like you're all our friends and we want to meet you.
It was so cool last night taking pictures
I know,
with people.
and those two women that became friends like because of the show, and then they were out helping like people do their put up cabinets, and it was great to see. Yeah, that was great to see.
All righty, dear.
All right.
You did a great job today.
Oh,
good show for you. You get an 8 today.
I'll tell you,
I'll
people
give you a
last
couple
night,
bells.
people were talking about last night's show too, because
I
that
know.
couple was,
Yeah.
the parents were
You never
adorbs.
know.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thanks a lot. We'll see you tomorrow at Margarita's. Say it with me, everyone. Bye-bye.